Welcome to the Draw a Pansy tutorial. Let's keep things simple, so grab whatever art supplies you have around the house. I will be starting in pencil, so grab your pencil, whether it be a regular or a mechanical. I will also be using a compass. If you don't have a compass, don't worry about it. Use a cup, freehand it, use a bowl or a coin for a small pansy, or if you want to work in color today, grab your colored pencils. I will be starting in pencil and then moving to ink. So these are Micron Pigma pens. They come in different tips. So that allows me to get very, very fine lines or thicker lines. And that is how I will finish today. First thing I'm going to do is to draw a circle. I'm going to use a compass today, but you can use a cup or a bowl, whatever you have. You could freehand it, that's fine as well. This circle is going to be our guide. So here's about the center of my sketchbook page. So I'm going to go just below that because we will be working above this circle. Now the circle that I have is about 2 inches or 5 centimeters set right here. So that's about 5 centimeters or 2 inches. And I am just going to draw that circle. And then I am going to mark the center of my circle. And I am going to put a mark about 1/3 of the way between the top of the circle and my center. I'll just make another mark. Now I'm going to use this top mark as my point to start my pansy. So I'm going to put a cylinder, kind of an oval shape going that way and an oval shape going this way, using that point as a guide. And then I'm going to do a U shape, not quite to the center, but down underneath, and that is going to be the center of our pansy. I'm going to start with the bottom petal, and I'm going to go from that left oval, and I'm going to go down into a curve and down to the edge of my circle, and the same from this side, down and to the edge of my circle. And then just beyond that, use it as a guide, make a wavy line, find approximately where your center is, and go up, and then another wavy line over here, and that is our bottom petal. Now we're going to work on the 2 side petals. So I'm going to start from that right hand oval shape, and I am going to do a wavy line out just beyond my circle. And from here, I'm going to do a line from that bottom petal out to the edge of my circle. And I'm going to do the same over on this side. So out to the edge from my bottom petal, and then from this oval shape, I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go out, so that I'm almost on top of that bottom line. Then I'm going to come in and I am going to make these meet. I'm going to dip in a little bit there, and the same over here. Dip in a bit, and there we go. Now for the 2 top petals, I'm going to come over from the left hand petal. I'm going to do a curved line going up and over, and I'm going to come down to just where we started that dip, and there is my first top petal. Play with it, see how you like that shape to be, and then from this one, same thing. I'm going to go over to this point, and I'm going to create another petal. And there we have our pansy. I'm going to go over that one more time, and I'm going to use my marker this time so it's a little bit easier for you to see. So there's my center. I went about 1/3 of the way up between my center and the top of my circle, and I created an oval and another oval. And then I put a U or a V shape, more of a U, right underneath that. And then I started on the bottom petal. So I came from that left-hand side and I went around just beyond the circle. And I did the same over here, came around just beyond that circle. And then I created a scalloped edge, peaking in the center, and a scalloped edge to that end. Now for my side petals, I'm going to start at this one here, and I'm going to go up and scallop it right till I get to about there. And at the bottom, I'm going to go just past halfway, and I'm going to come out to the side of my circle, and then I'm going to connect those with a bit of a wavy line. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Now it's a little bit flat, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better this time. I'm going to do up and over, and I'm going to come about a half a way down that petal, go up and over, and then I'm going to come in right here, and I'm going to go a little bit more rounded. There we go. And now for the two top petals, I'm going to start on that left-hand side, and I'm going to come up, and I'm going to go around, and I want to go to just before we kind of dipped in here on this side. And there's one top petal. The other one comes right where we curved that one on the right, and we're going to go to the left. I'm going to go around, scallop it a little bit, and come around till there. And there we have the basic shape of our pansy. Now I'm going to remove all of my pencil markings, make sure my eraser is clean, and if you're using a different kind of a pen, make sure your ink is dry before you go in and do this, or you're going to get some smudging. So I'm going to remove all those lines, and then we'll come back to do some shading. All right, I've moved in really close so you can see how I'm going to add some detail. Now I do have my pencil again. I'm just going to mark, this is my center line. I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mark because generally the center of your pansy is lighter than the petals. All right, I got my 005, so I'm going to do some very detailed lines to capture the different colors of this pansy. I'm going to start here at the bottom petal, and I'm just going to start sketching in some lines. Now, I know these are hard to see maybe, but I'm just going to keep adding more and more lines, and you'll see them start to build. Now I'm going to go a little bit longer on the edges. And same over here. And keep building this out. Another area that I'm going to start building out is on these, and they're going to go straight from those ovals. And we're going to go out to the petal. I'm just going to start building in my basic lines, and then I'll just build out from there. So this is the darker purple probably maybe. There's so many different types and colors of pansies. That's why you don't have to stress so much about getting your petals perfect, because there's so many different varieties, and it's just a nice flower to start with because of that, of all the different varieties and the different colors and textures of pansies. I also want to add a little bit on the outside edges here to show that there's a little bit of a curve to this flower. And I'll do the same in various different spots of our pansy. This one, I'm going to make it look like it's coming in, curving right here, and the shadow is where it's curving from. And I'm just going to keep building this out, line after line after line. It does take patience, but I find it very soothing and relaxing. So I'm going to keep building out on these two petals, and you can watch as I go. Now, if you want, you can use your pencil to build out a guide. So I am going to end up doing lines kind of in this shape right here for the pansy. It's a kind of an upside down heart. Just build that in a little bit darker for you. And then I'm probably going to do some lines right in here as well for darker. And then on these edges, it's going to be more like this. A little bit of a curve with all of my marks. And then, of course, the center will be a little bit darker as well. So I'm just going to keep building that out, line after line. Once you feel comfortable you have enough of your guidelines put in, you can take that pencil right out. There we go. Sorry, I'm kind of aggressive with my moving the camera a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to take them out over here as well. Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep building, but I'm comfortable where my lines are, and I'm confident that I will be able to keep building within those guidelines. I need to get a little bit more here on the edges of this pansy, so I'm going to work at building in some depth from the edges. Line after line. I've been working with pen for a very long time, so I do still make mistakes, and sometimes I have to take my mistakes and make them part of the drawing. So if you're not confident enough to be working in pen, please use pencil. If you wanted to use color, use color. This is your drawing. I'm just providing you with a guide on how to build out a pansy. Just wanted to show you right here how I determine where I put some of these lines. So right here, as it's coming down on this edge, I will make it look like it is curving inward by putting some lines very, very lightly And I'm just going to build those in. So that's one area where I see that the pansy would be curving in, and that's why I put some lines there. Now I'm also going to just add a few going into the center to draw your eye into that center and show that's how the veins of that flower would be moving outward. So right here as well, where the two leaves, the one is overlapping the other one, I'm just going to build out a lot of lines. Now if this was a pencil, I would be just putting in some shading here, or if I was using color, I would be adding a darker color in this spot. Just finishing up on my pansy. As you can see, I've done a lot of lines here in the background petals. I think I said leaves before, but petals. And I've indicated where there are some little maybe divots in the petals, and of course where we have some different coloring of the petals. I also use dots in the center. They are not my favorite, but they definitely add a lot of texture, and I just have a little bit more shading over here to do, and a little bit over here. Before we end today, I just want to show you, sometimes I hold my pen like this. It gives me a sweeping motion that tends to work really well for me, and it also kind of uses the side of my pen, which adds a little bit of a different texture to my strokes. And you can also use cross hatching. I said that I used some dots there in the center. You can also do some cross hatching where you have your lines going one way and then the other. So you really have to find your own style and your own preference, and just have fun with it. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to Just Keep Creating.